What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the YouTube channel. So in today's video, I'm going to be discussing a pretty hot topic, and it's something that I know a lot of guys question, maybe struggle with, and they just need a little bit of direction of where to take their physique to begin with. Now, this is the skinny fat situation. This is a situation that a lot of guys will find themselves in when they start their fitness journey. Now, typically what skinny fat means is it's kind of a position as to where you don't really have much muscle. You can't really see any muscle in the mirror, but at the same time, you can see belly fat. You can see fat in places that you don't really like. Maybe you've still got man boobs, love handles, but there's just not much muscle there either. So it puts you in quite a difficult position to think, well, should I be trying to gain a lot of muscle and pushing my calories up high? Or should I be trying to lose body fat first and get lean, then maybe try and build? And what often happens is guys will try and do both at the same time. So they think that the best thing to do is, well, I'm gonna try and build muscle and lose body fat simultaneously because this is what my favorite influencers told me to do, and that's what the science says if I take this supplement and I do this and I do that. When the reality is, in order to actually do both those things at the same time, it's gonna be quite slow either end. You're not gonna make that much progress through muscle building or fat loss, or maybe you do muscle building for a few weeks and then you decide, oh, actually I wanna get leaner because you see something on Instagram, and then you go into a little bit of a fat loss phase. So you kind of just spend a really short amount of time in each place and not really see much progress in either. Really, really common situation. So today I wanna give you a complete roadmap and rundown of exactly what I do to approach skinny fat, what we have done at FitLab to help guys that have come to us in that skinny fat position, which, let's be honest, most guys or a lot of guys are starting in a reasonable position kind of similar to that, where they haven't maybe got much muscle, they do have body fat that they want to remove, and we give them a complete rundown of exactly what they need to do. And here it is. So my philosophy is that you should get lean first. Now, some people may say different, some coaches that promote that you start eating more calories and slowly taper your calories up. However, I just don't believe that someone is going to be motivated for a long enough time to keep doing that and keep building calories higher while still having body fat that they want to get rid of. I mean, I know I wouldn't be if I was building muscle and I still had a little stomach there, a bit of belly fat, I still have man boobs. I wouldn't necessarily be as confident, and I probably would just end up sacking off my muscle building overall. And recomp, well, doing both at the same time, as I say, it is just a little bit slow. So my philosophy and what we've done lots of times at FitLab to guys that have come to us that maybe do start around that kind of 60, 70 kilo mark, maybe even 80 kilos, and it's difficult to know which direction to go in. So we put them in a calorie deficit to start off with. It's always the first thing that we would do. We would calculate a deficit of around 500 calories, which is a pretty moderate deficit. It's nothing too big, nothing too aggressive. And then from there, we get them to start losing body fat, eating plenty of protein, around 1 gram per pound of their ideal weight, or the weight they'd like to be, or even the weight that they'd like to get to. We get them eating that much protein, really good quality food, training with a good stimulus, a good workout split, and they are effectively gonna start losing body fat. Now, during that process, it's not to say that they're not going to build any muscle. You can still build muscle in a calorie deficit. If you're getting stronger throughout this journey, you are still building muscle, more strength, more muscle, but you've got to be realistic. It's not going to be as much as you think. You're not going to build loads of muscle as to where your physique or your scale weight is going to stay the same. Like, realistically, if there's body fat to go, that's going to come down to you losing scale weight. So even if you are building muscle and you're seeing those numbers increase, you still need to focus on making sure the scales are dropping to a certain extent. Give yourself a target weight. Even if you're starting at around 60, 65 kilos, let's knock back 5 kilos, 10 kilos. Let's get lean first, because the reality is that when we get lean and we drop body fat, we actually create this kind of almost false look anyway in some way, which kind of sounds bad, but it makes us look better. It makes us look bigger, right? It's deceiving. You can actually be quite a low weight, but if you're shredded and you've got muscles in the right positions, in the right shape, you actually look way bigger anyway. Like, some guys you'll see at like 60, 70 kilos, you think, geez, this guy is jacked. In the reality is, yeah, they are jacked, but they're also very light. So you can still look great whilst getting lean first and working through that initial fat loss phase. And then when you've done that, when you've built the foundations, when you've got your body into a position as to where you've got kind of clear abs, you've got kind of no real body fat around your chest, the back's looking lean and there's no love handles, the legs are looking shredded, you're then getting yourself in a position as to where you can give yourself a great scope to build from. And this could be for months, years on end where you build, because the initial diet that you do only really needs to be done once. So if you can get lean and can get shredded in 12 weeks, 16 weeks, even if it takes you longer than that, you can then spend a long time building muscle, which is gonna eradicate skinny fat for good. Because the more muscle that you've got, the easier it is to stay in shape. The more calories you can eat, the more your metabolism is gonna start to build and tick over and just make staying in shape so much easier. And the reality is that when we get lean first, is we get all of our hormone production and everything in terms of our body's inside capability physiologically to a place where it wants to build muscle. Insulin is a lot better controlled. Hormones and things like testosterone are gonna be in a much better position and much more optimized when your body's leaner and you have a better body composition. You know, if you're trying to build muscle from around 18 to 20% body fat, you're not gonna be optimizing things like testosterone, which is the biggest driver when it comes to building muscle. If you can get to around 10 to 12% body fat first, you're gonna be producing more testosterone, more growth hormone. You're gonna be getting yourself to a better position in terms of controlling insulin, which again is a massive hormone that dictates how we build muscle and the rate that we build muscle at. So there's so many benefits to getting yourself to that position. You can also see which muscles you need to work on more. So if you've got lean and you can see that your chest maybe is a bit of a weakness, you can gear a lot of your muscle building phase toward growth within your chest. You know, a lot of the volume, a lot of the exercises, the way that you set your week up, you can make it more dictated around your chest. So it's easy to spot the weak or the nagging body parts that we need to work on a little bit more. It's a much more motivating process to go through, because when you look lean and you've got the kind of lean shredded physique, you're more motivated. So, you know, you're in shape. You then want to carry on building muscle and getting better and getting stronger. Whereas again, if you start building from a position as to where you're not that motivated, you know, you don't like your physique that much, that's just going to lead to inconsistency. You're going to fall off the wagon again, probably then switch back to cutting and then further switch back to bulking again. Nothing ever really changes. So very, very simple advice when it comes to fixing a skinny fat physique. And this is something that I've used myself many, many times with many, many, many clients over the years, is get lean first, put yourself in a deficit, 12 weeks, maybe even 8 weeks, get the job done, get lean, get body composition to a good place, 10 to 12%, see your abs, start seeing things pop, really nail your training, really nail your nutrition. You know, these are fundamentals. You're gonna recomp your physique to a really good place. You're not gonna get skinny if you do things the right way. You're not gonna lose muscle. You're gonna look great. When you've done this, you can build. You can get strong. You can put yourself on a surplus. You can build a shit ton of muscle, 10, 20, 30 pounds of muscle, which is gonna keep you in shape for the rest of your life and just make the process easier. So that's my advice. That's what I do. I hope you guys have found this useful. As always, much more fitness content coming to the channel over these next few months. If you do, make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit the bell notification so you're notified every single time I post. And I'm going to catch you guys in the next video.